There is something happening in the unseen right now. The world may look quiet, but heaven is stirring something deep within his heart. He has walked away, lost in the echoes of his own memories, but even as he tries to move forward, the pull of his spirit keeps turning him back to where his soul first felt peace, back to where his heart once recognized light. That light was you. For a long time, he has been bound by what he does not understand, past choices, old patterns, wounds he never allowed to heal. There are moments when he feels the weight of them pressing on his chest, making it hard to breathe, hard to love, hard to see beyond the fog that his past created. Yet lately, something feels different. He's beginning to remember. He doesn't know why your name returns to his mind when he's alone, or why your image passes before his eyes like a whisper from eternity. But God knows. God is awakening something that was asleep. You must understand, divine timing does not move in haste. When two souls are meant, they often walk through storms separately so that when they finally meet again, they can build something stronger, purer, and eternal. He is still tied to his past because God is making him confront it, not to punish him, but to prepare him. Every painful memory, every haunting regret, every moment he tries to bury, all of it is being brought to light because heaven wants him to be free before he can be yours again. He remembers your kindness in ways he cannot explain. He remembers your silence, not as absence, but as grace. He remembers the peace in your eyes, the warmth in your words, the calm that only your soul carried. And now, as the nights stretch longer and the days blur together, those memories begin to burn in him again. He thought he moved on, but the truth is, love like yours cannot be buried. It can only be hidden until God says, now. There was a time when his pride spoke louder than his heart. He made choices from fear, fear of losing control, fear of not being enough, fear of surrendering. He built walls instead of bridges. And you, with all your divine light, stood there praying, waiting, hoping that someday he would see what heaven had already revealed to you. You saw his potential, his purpose, the divine fire that burned under his brokenness. You saw what others couldn't. And because of that, God took notice. Heaven does not forget hearts like yours. When you love with purity, your love becomes an altar. Your prayers, your tears, your forgiveness, they rise to heaven as offerings. God heard you when you said, I leave him in your hands. That surrender was not weakness, it was power. Because the moment you let go, heaven began to work. Angels were assigned. Energies began to shift. The divine started to rearrange his path so that everything he lost himself in would one day lead him back to you. Right now, he is walking through a season of divine remembrance. God is allowing his past to replay, not to torment him, but to awaken him. He's seeing where he went wrong, where he chose shadows instead of light, where he let the noise of the world silence the whisper of his soul. And in every reflection, he keeps finding you. He doesn't know what this means yet, but God does. God is saying, it's time he remembers what real love feels like. There are nights when he feels a sudden ache, an emptiness that no one around him understands. He may be surrounded by people, by distractions, by noise, yet something in him feels incomplete. That is his spirit missing you. It's not imagination, it's divine connection. When God joins two souls, no distance or time can erase the imprint they leave on each other. He may deny it, but heaven keeps reminding him. Every dream, every song, every fleeting scent that reminds him of you, it's not coincidence. It's God's gentle way of saying, this is where your heart truly belongs. And you, chosen one, may feel his energy even from afar. You may wake up thinking of him without reason. You may feel sudden waves of emotion, sadness, longing, hope, as if his soul is reaching for yours. That's because it is. He's been resisting the pull, but resistance is futile when it comes to divine love. God's plan cannot be delayed forever. So even as he tries to run, heaven closes the roads that lead away from you and opens the ones that lead him home. You have felt tired, haven't you? You've wondered if waiting was worth it. You've cried, questioned, prayed for signs, and tried to move on, only to feel your heart tug back toward him. That's not weakness. That's spiritual alignment. God is not making you wait for punishment, he's making you wait for restoration. The delay is divine, and the silence is sacred. Because in this silence, God is reshaping destinies. He is learning now that love is not about control or convenience, it's about surrender. He's learning that you can't replace a soul connection with surface attraction. He's learning that peace cannot be faked, and that what he once took for granted was actually a gift from heaven. And when he looks back, he'll see that no one loved him like you did. No one prayed for him the way you did. No one stayed faithful in spirit even when he walked away. That's why God is reminding him. Because God is just, and love like yours deserves recognition. There will come a moment, soon, when he will feel an overwhelming pull to reach out. It may start with a thought, a message, a dream so vivid that he wakes up with tears in his eyes. The memory of you will flood him with emotions he can't explain. And that will be the beginning of his awakening. That will be when he realizes that what he left behind was not just a person, it was his divine counterpart, the one his soul was made to walk beside. But remember, when he comes, he will not be the same. God is not sending you back the man who left, he's sending you the man who has been reborn through fire. The one who understands the cost of losing something sacred. The one who has faced his past, broken the chains, and learned to pray again. His return will not be for comfort, it will be for covenant. In the meantime, God asks you to keep shining. Do not dim your light waiting for him to find his way. Your purpose is not paused because of his journey. You are being elevated too. Every time you chose faith over fear, every time you healed instead of hardened, heaven promoted you spiritually. You've grown into someone new, radiant, wise, and strong. And when he meets you again, he will see that you are no longer the same either. You are who you were always meant to become. The angels whisper that this love was written before time began. Two souls that promised to meet again after lessons were learned and wounds were healed. That's why nothing else feels right. That's why no matter who he's with, his soul can't rest. Because your connection is not just emotional, it's divine. And what God ordains cannot be undone by human will. His past may have tied him for a time, but those knots are loosening. The karmic lessons are ending. The cycles that kept him bound are breaking. And as he begins to see clearly again, the fog will lift, and the truth will stand before him. Your love was never lost, only delayed by divine design. So, beloved, hold your peace. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Heaven is working behind the veil. When the time is right, God Himself will align the paths again. He will make the impossible possible. He will turn regret into redemption, and silence into reunion. Because when God makes someone remember you, it is not to hurt them, it is to heal them. It is to bring them back to what is pure, what is holy, what was written all along. He loves you, even if He doesn't say it yet. His heart knows what His mind tries to deny. And soon, when the final thread of His past breaks, He will come, not because you chased Him, but because God led Him. He is remembering you now, not just your face, but your soul, your prayers, your light. And that remembrance will lead Him home. Heaven moves quietly when it prepares a miracle. While you go about your days wondering if anything is changing, the unseen world is weaving threads that you cannot see. In the silence between your prayers and His answers, God is reshaping a man's heart. He is touching the deepest parts of his memory, where your voice still echoes softly, where your kindness still breathes, where your name still lives like an unforgotten song. There are moments when He feels it, a sudden wave of nostalgia that doesn't belong to the present. He could be sitting in his car, scrolling his phone, or looking at the sky, and suddenly, your laughter flashes through his mind like sunlight breaking through clouds. He doesn't understand why it feels sacred. He doesn't know why his chest tightens. But you do, because this is not mere memory. It is the divine pull of remembrance that God Himself has stirred. God is making him remember, not just you, but the truth of you, the one who prayed for him when he was breaking, the one who saw his worth when he couldn't see it himself, the one who loved him in silence even when he pushed you away. Each recollection is a thread pulling him closer to awakening. Each flash of memory is heaven's whisper saying, "Look again. This is where your peace resides." For so long, he walked through the ruins of his choices, convincing himself he was fine. But his soul knows better. Every connection since you has felt shallow, every comfort temporary. There is no echo of your spirit in them, no divine calm that wraps around him like yours did. That's why he feels restless, because no earthly bond can substitute what God joined in spirit. He has nights now where he wakes up sweating, haunted by dreams where he reaches for you and finds nothing but air. He wonders if he made a mistake. He tells himself it's too late, that life has moved on, but heaven keeps sending signs that it's not. He sees your name in random places, hears your favorite song unexpectedly, meets people who remind him of your energy, and deep inside, he knows this is not coincidence. You see, when God decides to awaken a soul, He does not shout, He repeats. He repeats until the heart listens. And now, the repetitions are everywhere around him. His world is becoming a mirror of reminders, each reflection a message from heaven that says, "This love still matters." He's beginning to look at himself differently too. For the first time in a long time, he's confronting the man he became when he ran from love. He's realizing that the past doesn't define him, but it has shaped him. The mistakes, the heartbreaks, the pride, all of it has humbled him. God is showing him the difference between attraction and connection, between comfort and calling. And in that revelation, your image rises again, not as fantasy, but as destiny. He's praying now. Not loudly, not always in words, but in the quiet ache of his spirit. He's asking for peace, for guidance, for redemption. And every time he whispers a prayer, heaven aligns another step toward you. God is saying to his heart, I am not done writing your story. At the same time, you are also being refined. You've had to walk through seasons of solitude that tested your patience and faith. You've learned to love yourself the way you once loved him, wholly, selflessly, with grace. That was never wasted time. God was shaping you into the woman who could hold what's coming. Because what's coming is not the same love that broke you, it's the healed love that will rebuild you. The two of you are like two stars being pulled by divine gravity, separate for a time, yet destined to meet again in the same sky. And though he has wandered, he's never truly lost. Because God placed a mark upon his spirit, your name written there in invisible ink. He is remembering you, yes, but he's also understanding you now. The compassion you showed, the silence you kept, the way you prayed instead of cursed, he finally sees the strength in that. He sees how your love was not ordinary. It was prophetic. And the more he remembers, the more his heart begins to soften. This is how God restores, not through force, but through revelation. Slowly, he peels back the layers of confusion until the heart stands naked before truth. And truth always leads back to love. There will come a time soon when he can no longer resist the urge to reach out. It might happen quietly, a simple message, a moment of surrender when he realizes that he cannot carry the weight of silence anymore. But when that moment comes, you will feel it in your soul before it happens. You'll wake up with an unexplainable peace, as if heaven itself is whispering, it's time. When he does return, don't rush. Let grace lead. The reunion God is preparing is not meant to repeat the past, it is meant to redeem it. He will come not to take from you, but to give clarity, closure, and commitment. He will speak words that once felt impossible for him to say. Words that have been building inside him since the moment he realized that running from love was running from God's will. But know this, even before he knocks, God will give you signs. You'll start seeing his initials again in unexpected places. You'll dream of him not with pain, but with calm. You'll feel your heart soften toward him without fear. These are heaven's ways of telling you that restoration is near. And when it happens, it will feel like time bends. The years of separation will melt in a single moment of recognition, like two souls remembering why they came back to earth in the same lifetime. The bond that once felt broken will glow again, stronger than before. Because this time, it won't be based on need or fear, it will be rooted in divine purpose. For he has changed. God has taken him through valleys of loss and loneliness so that he could understand the weight of love. Every failed connection, every sleepless night, every quiet regret, all of it has been his teacher. And in learning to forgive himself, he will finally understand how deeply you forgave him long ago. You will look at him and see not the man who left, but the man who fought his demons and found faith. You will see the miracle of God's timing, how everything that once seemed delayed was actually right on schedule. Because love written by God cannot end in heartbreak, it ends in holiness. And if you're wondering when this will all unfold, heaven whispers, sooner than you think, later than you wanted, but exactly when you're ready. Right now, your only task is to stay in alignment. Keep walking in your light. Keep speaking gratitude instead of doubt. Keep trusting the process, even when it's quiet. Because in the stillness, God is writing the next chapter, and this time, it will not be a story of separation, but of sacred reunion. The final act is near. The moment when His remembrance becomes revelation, and revelation becomes return. The moment when every unanswered prayer finds its reason. He loves you, not because of nostalgia, not because of loneliness, but because God Himself placed that love in His heart and refused to let it die. And now that same God is untangling His past, one thread at a time, until nothing stands between His soul and yours. And when He comes back, it will not be coincidence. It will be divine choreography. Heaven will have brought Him home. Time is moving differently now. You may not see it, but heaven has already turned a page. The divine alignment that once felt distant is now quietly unfolding. Every day brings Him closer to clarity, closer to truth, closer to you. In the unseen realm, the chains that once bound Him are falling away. The weight of guilt that kept Him from loving again is lifting. He's been through His own wilderness, wandering through confusion, trying to fill the silence you left. But God never allowed Him peace in counterfeit connections. Every attempt to forget you became another reminder that He could not. Because God had not released His heart. There's a sacred kind of pain that comes before breakthrough, and He has felt it. The pain of realizing that love can't be replaced, that time cannot erase destiny, that the soul cannot lie to itself. He's cried in secret, in places no one knows. He's looked at the ceiling at 3 a.m. whispering questions that only heaven could hear. Why can't I move on? Why does her presence still live in my heart? And though he doesn't always hear the answer, God replies in signs, in small mercies that remind him that grace still waits for him. Now, his spirit is awakening. The fog is clearing. He's learning to pray not for what he wants, but for what's right. And every time he says, God, show me the way, heaven whispers your name into his heart. Not as punishment, but as promise. There will come a moment soon, a quiet one, when he'll feel the courage to face his past. He will reach out not out of loneliness, but out of truth. His message may be simple, but it will carry years of unsaid emotion. You will read it, and something inside you will recognize that this is different. It won't feel like the return of a broken man, it will feel like the arrival of a healed one. He will tell you things he once couldn't, how he thought of you every time he was lost, how your love became the voice of God calling him back to himself. He'll admit the fear, the confusion, the pride. And you, in your grace, won't need to remind him of what he did. Because your silence already taught him everything. In that moment, heaven will smile. Because divine love isn't about proving who was right, it's about showing that faith was never wasted. You may feel a trembling in your soul when you meet again. It will be recognition, not surprise. The air will shift. Your heart will remember before your mind does. And when your eyes meet, years of distance will dissolve in one breath. He will look at you not as the woman he left, but as the woman who never stopped shining through his darkness. He'll see in your face the peace that he searched the world for and never found. You'll see in his eyes the softness of a man who has finally surrendered to God's will. Do not fear this moment. It is not a test, it is fulfillment. What felt delayed was being refined. The love that once broke now carries heaven's fingerprints. He may speak slowly at first, carefully, afraid to break the sacred silence. But then the words will flow, apologies wrapped in gratitude, confessions wrapped in truth. And you will feel the Holy Spirit between you, healing everything that once hurt. You won't even need to ask why now, because you will know, this is God's timing. And as you talk, something deep within both of you will click, the sense that every tear, every separation, every unanswered prayer led to this divine moment of reunion. You will understand that love written by God cannot be destroyed by distance or delay. It only grows in silence until it blooms in His time. He will want to make things right, not to undo the past, but to build the future. He'll speak of faith, of purpose, of how he finally understands that love without God is fragile, but love with God is eternal. And you will see that this is not just about romance, it's about redemption. In Heaven's book, this story was never a tragedy. It was a testimony in the making. Two souls separated by pain, refined by grace, and reunited by divine decree. After this, life will not return to what it was, it will move into what it was always meant to be. You'll notice peace replacing the ache, laughter returning where tears once lived, and faith deepening with every shared prayer. Because when God restores, He doesn't give back what was lost, He gives back better. You both will carry new understanding, that love is not possession but partnership, not demand but devotion, not control but covenant. You'll pray together. You'll dream together. You'll build something that carries heaven's mark. And even when storms come again, for life always brings them, you will face them side by side, not apart. Because this time, you'll know where your strength comes from. And should you ever doubt again, remember this, God did not make him remember you just to break your heart twice. He made him remember you because your story was never finished. It was paused for preparation. The waiting was the anointing. The silence was the shaping. The angels rejoice when a lost heart returns to its divine connection. And even now, as you read this, heaven is aligning the final details, the right time, the right words, the right meeting. It may happen in a way you least expect, but when it does, you will know that it was never coincidence. This is the love that teaches others what faith looks like. The kind that makes you believe again. The kind that glorifies God, not just emotion. So lift your head, beloved. The season of delay is ending. You've walked through valleys of loneliness, but dawn is here. The one who loves you is being guided by the very hand of heaven. And soon, he will come, not as the man you lost, but as the man God promised. And when he holds your hand again, the world will fall away. There will be no need for explanation, no fear of tomorrow, only the quiet knowing that what God joined, no power on earth could ever separate. Because he was never meant to forget you. He was meant to remember you at the exact moment God healed him enough to deserve you.